All right. Does that say it's recording on your end?
Yeah, I had hit OK or leave meeting, so I hit OK.
Cool. All right, cool. Sounds good. So we're going to be going over a couple things, but I think the number one thing that we should start with more than anything is basics. All right. Because I tell everybody, if you've been in training with me, then you've heard me tell the story, right? You hold up the football, Vince Lombardi, he would hold up the football in front of everybody, all these guys who worked their entire lives to get onto that team. And he would say, This, gentlemen, this is a football, right? And it's it speaks to this man as a coach and who he was and the success that he had, right? Mike Tomlin did just break his winning seasons record. Just want to add that in there. But great guy. It's because he started with the basics. All right. The basics was always where it came back down to. All right. You're gonna see a trend in this training when it comes to that. Now, what does that look like? So you're getting basicer than basic. It's what does a successful person in this job look like? All right. So we're going to run down through essentially what that looks like, someone in the senior marketer role doing that. Okay. First and above all else, right? This is what I'm always going to look at first. Oh, holy if I can spell. Is that spelled right? Attendance?
Yes.
All right, cool. Attendance first and foremost, okay? Attendance, not just because, I'm selfish and I just want you to myself every day of the week, right? Attendance is important because one, um, being a responsible adult, okay? Being to work on time, being mature enough to say, hey, I have to be at the same place every single day at the same exact time, right? That is oftentimes the most consistent thing in most people's lives is their work, right? I know I need to be there at 11:30 every single day, right? So if if someone's like late regularly, right? Um, I get it, right? If you're just starting at the job and you just the drive was the traffic was more than what you anticipated or whatever, right? By a few minutes and you come in, shortly after 10:30. Okay, cool. Um, once you've been here like a few days though, not even past a week. Once you've been here for a few days, you know what that drive is going to look like. You know what to anticipate in terms of like what traffic may be at a certain hour, all those certain things. So when it becomes a trend that someone may be late regularly, that tells not only myself but everyone else in here that you're not really taking it seriously. Okay. You need to be consistent with showing up to work and showing up to work on time. All right. So when you do that, then you grow more disciplined. People who come in with a lot of discipline, excuse me, tend to do a lot better at this job than people who are not disciplined, right? Um, and you're going to be more successful in life because of being more disciplined anyway. Um, Now, also, this is not something where you can just, throw in and throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks. This is something you have to practice. You have to really, you have to get in front of more doors in order to, constantly get better because you need to practice and do perfect practice because perfect practice makes perfect. Not practicing makes perfect because if you're practicing wrong, then you're 6 degrees off from center. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So attendance being first and foremost, showing up to work on time, being dependable. Also, this ties into what growth may look at the company as well. If if you do everything well, literally everything, and your attendance is poor, that will be a reason why I look at that person and I say, I don't think that they can handle, a position like a manager position, like a team lead role or a supervisor role. I don't, because I can't count on that person, right? I've had many canvassers over the years, who would absolutely kill it on the road. I'm talking writing no less than 3, 4, 5 leads a day on the road, right? But, they're not showing up once a week, or they're late, once or twice a week. So that's a person that I'll look at and be like, yeah, you can do your job well, you do well for the hours per demo and the team, all sorts of stuff like that. They're making themselves a good bit of money. But I'm never going to say, hey, I can depend on that person and to be here on time every single day. And I can trust that person with a certain type of responsibility, like driving the vans out, being scouting out territory or cutting maps in the morning, stuff like that. Anything uh like with recruiting, all stuff like that. I can't trust that person. All right. So attendance, first and foremost. Second, we want to go with methodology, right? Our scripting, performing that to a T, okay? And then understanding it as well. It's one thing just to understand the words on the paper. And if that was it, then I would have put script right here, right? But I mean, we could probably put script in there too, right? But I'm not just going to put just the script, because the script is just words on the paper. If you go out there and expect to, do incredibly well at this job just by going up to people's doors and just saying those words, yeah, you'll probably get one lead a day, maybe, right? Maybe two, and make yourself a little bit of money. But I can't foresee that really being an end all be all for anybody. Okay. The methodology where that comes in is the process. Why do we say this way in our intro? When I'm saying my name's Tony, you must be Mr. Jones. Okay. There's a reason why even a simple statement like that, as menial as it may seem, there are reasons why that is said that exact way. Okay. Now, the reason being is because obviously you're going to introduce yourself first. It's respectful of you to do. We're strangers on somebody's property. But very easily people can become clouded because, they maybe get some dumb advice from someone in the van, right? Like, hey, you the king of the castle? I hate that, right? It's ridiculous. It's not personal. You're not establishing a conversation between Tony and Mr. Jones, okay? It's psychologically proven just by saying the person's name is you can get them to listen, right? Um, it's extremely, extremely important knowing that sort of stuff. No, I'm not saying that there's not going to be anybody in that van who may have gotten some bad information before or made some stuff up before. They should know better than to be, saying, hey, no, do it this way, right? Unless you're in a position where you've been deemed a person who can do the training. But any advice that should be given should be we should be able to point it out and find it somewhere in that methodology. Um, does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Right? So that person receiving the advice, receiving that bad advice, if that happens, if that ever happens, it shouldn't, but that person hearing that or someone else in the van, right? It's on their individual responsibility as well to say, hey, cut that shit out. That doesn't make any sense. Right? Now, you don't have to be mean about it because we don't want to create any, issues between people. Obviously, you're not gonna be in the van and be like, hey, fuck you, or nothing like that. You're not gonna be like that. But but you understand what I'm getting at. That person needs to be responsible for their own production as well. So if they hear that and they should be able to know, hey, that's not, I know I'm not going to listen to that guy. I know that guy is an idiot. So whatever, right? I'm not going to put that into practice. I should know better than to put that into practice, right? Um, cool. But that's why we spend so much time on each individual part of the script. That's why we take it small section to perfection, right? You need to understand these words word for word and the reason behind it, so that part of the reason is you can execute it well. And the second reason being that you can stay consistent. All right. That ties back into one of those things where it ties in with attendance there, right? Consistency, consistency, consistency. Perfect practice makes perfect. All right. That's being here every day and executing that methodology the right way every day. All right. If there's ever something you see on the road, right? You're walking with your team lead or maybe the supervisor or something, and they tell you something and you think, well, that goes against something that I learned in training, right? Um, then you should let me know. You should let me know immediately. All right. Come to me and ask me, right? Hey, this was said. I'm not sure about it. And oh, what's your take? I thought you said something like this, right? Come to me. Let me know, because it very well could be something could have gotten misconstrued. In that conversation, right? You may not have understood fully what that supervisor may have been telling you or whatever. Now, I hope not, right? Um, but it also could have been that supervisor not understanding something fully that, we may have gone over in a training, right? They may have taken it a different way and deduced it like that. So I can go to them and I can say, hey, this is what was said. What's your take on this? Oh, well, I thought, when you said this, that I meant that. And no, and that's completely fine. I'm never going to get mad at anybody for asking a question like that. I'll sit there, I will help you, I will help you understand, and explain to you why it's done this way and not this way. And the type of response that you can expect to receive using this rather than this, right? And how it's going to benefit you. All right. So that's extremely important, because people, you have to understand, people going out on the road from in-office training and going out onto the road from there, if they're seeing something completely different than what they've learned in here, it absolutely destroys, confuses people, all sorts of stuff like that. It can be very, very harrowing. Um, with as we grow too, it's not going to be feasible for me being able to go out and walk with every single person, like we have been, fortunate enough to be able to do here with the size of our team. But as we grow, we're gonna have to button that down. Absolutely, right? All right, cool. So everyone understands the methodology and attendance being two things that are extremely, extremely important. Now, keeping yourself put together, right? I almost wrote hygiene there, but I think we can tie that into like keeping yourself put together, right? I think that's a better word for it, because there's different aspects to it that are beyond just, keeping yourself clean and that sort of thing, right? Um, we have to understand that now this is something that Alan knows extremely well and realized on his own, but we have to understand that we cannot treat people the way we want to be treated, right? I think the golden rule is the biggest piece of bullshit that's ever been touted anywhere, okay? What it should be is you need to treat people the way they want to be treated, right? If Mr. Jones wants he really enjoys being punched in the face, right? Then I'm gonna punch him in the face because that's what he wants. I don't like punching people. Well, there's some people I would like to punch in the face, but Mr. Jones isn't one of them. I would hope, right? I would hope that certain people that I'm thinking of wouldn't be behind that door. But you know what I mean, right? Now, how does that make any sense, right? How does that make any sense? So you go to the door, right? You in your friend group outside of work, whatever, you guys like to dance to electronic rock music under bridges and wear big gauges or whatever, right? That's your thing. Cool. Go for it. Do it. When you come to work, right? And you've got massive gauges, huge holes in your ears, okay? Um, and you go up to a door in Highland Park or in South Lake or certain areas, the west side of Flower Mound. Those are not people that are going to respond well to, face tattoos, gauges, things of that nature, okay? You might get a awesome face tattoo or whatever that you go over to your friends and they're all like, dude, that's so sweet, that's awesome. Well, first of all, you need to reevaluate who you're hanging out with. Um, I would be surprised if we even, hired you at that point, but we use these extreme examples, but that's all well and good. Those people, you impress them. You are not going to impress people in places like Flower Mound, South Lake, right? Certain areas in Plano as well. These people are not, they're going to see that and they're going to take a screenshot on their ring and be like, who is this criminal at my door, right? Um, that sort of thing. Okay. So we have to understand that first and foremost. That's why I like to put keeping yourself put together there. It ties in, hygiene as well, because obviously if you are a person that doesn't take care of yourself at all, right? You come in with dirty, greasy hair every day, you smell bad, all that sort of stuff. Um, you go up to a door like that. I mean, what are you doing? So that's offensive. You're going to show up to a stranger's door like that. I wouldn't, I would look at my Ring doorbell and be like, what, why is there a homeless person at my door, right? Now you have company branded stuff all over you, right? But still, like, why would, if I have a high opinion of Renewal by Anderson, which you don't stick around as a company for 125 years and do the types of numbers that we do, we're $100 million a year business just here in North Texas, right? That's a big deal. That's a big name that we have to stand behind. So if I understand that, right, this massive company that's been around for so long and it's a highly respected company, NPS scores in the 90s every month, right? And that person comes to my door wearing all Renewal by Anderson stuff, I would I would say, um, I don't understand why a company like that would hire a person like that. You know, it would make me question that company's choices. And those are choices that we make every single day. So we have to be extremely, extremely cognizant of that. You come into work, you need to smell presentable, right? Little bit of Axe body spray. It's $3.49 at Walmart, right? It doesn't take that much to just take care of yourself, okay? These are very little things that you can do that, well, these are little things that if you're not doing already, then, you know, good luck. But these are little things that are not difficult to do that drastically impact people's thoughts of you. They say something like people make a judgment on you within the first 15 seconds of meeting you. I think that's bullshit. I think it's the second they lay eyes on you. they're making judgments immediately, especially in a sector where we work in door to door. People are answering the door, seeing somebody from a company, and they're immediately like, how do I get rid of this person? I don't want to buy anything, right? I don't have the money. My um my grandmother's second cousin's hamster just died. I don't have time for this, right? And they're judging you. They're like, this person, why, what are they doing at my door? Right? They're gonna find something. Oh, he needs a shave. He's got an ugly beard, right? Oh, he's got a receding hairline, right? Young guy, he's right, receding hairline. What a piece of shit. Um, he's got gauges in, right? That's not the type of person I want to talk to. All that sort of stuff. So we need to think about these things. Um, keep it on your mind. All right. Now you don't need to be baby face clean shaven every single day, but you need to be looking presentable, right? Like you can go up to someone's door and speak to them and be respectful of their time, right? All right. Cool. So doing these things, right? These three things, that's you know, that's essentially going to be like, okay, you can do your job. These are precursors, prerequisites, essentially, to being able to do your job, right? Um, to do it successfully, right? Then keeping your mindset in the right place to be successful, this is what it's going to take. All right. You need to have a strong mindset, a mindset of success. All right. There are little things every single day that people do to their own detriment. They they make decisions without even thinking about it, right? They decide that they are going to fail without thinking about it. All right. Now, what does that look like, right? What that looks like is someone, someone comes in and whatever, they see they see one of their appointments is canceled or whatever, right? And they decide without even thinking that, oh, I'm in a bad mood because one of my appointments just canceled, right? And I talked to that lady for whatever, and I thought I did a good job. But or that was going to be my fifth demo and take me to from 270 to 410 in commission, right? So I'm going to be sad about that now, right? So people don't even realize that that's a loser mentality whatsoever, okay? You need to switch your mindset to a success mentality, all right? So someone like me who's been doing this for a long time, if I go and look at and see one of my appointments has canceled, I'm going to say, okay, I probably could have done this better, which I will do next time, right? I probably would have already fixed it by now because you set that appointment probably yesterday, the day before, or whatever. But I say, yeah, I can see where I messed up there. Or if I can't, if I'm new at the job, right? What I'm gonna do is like, okay, um, I can go ask, I can go ask my manager what I could have done better, right? Because I want to avoid that happening again. I want to make sure that that I'm doing this right and the next leads that I'm writing, I'm doing the right way so I have the highest chance of success, right? Maybe talk through it, maybe role play that same situation out. All right. That all comes with your mindset. People don't realize that that can be a decision right there. People decide, oh, I'm going to have a bad day today, right? You get out, you start knocking and you're the first street you're on has 12 houses and 7 of them have no soliciting signs, right? Um, people decide weak-minded people will decide right there that my map has too many no soliciting signs, and that means I can't be successful today. Right? When you just continue, right? And you just were on a street where there's a lot of them or whatever, right? And you go to the next street and there's only 4 in those 12 houses, right? Which is a normal amount of no soliciting signs, right? But you're going to be convinced that my map has way too many no soliciting signs. When you have another canvasser just across the street in the same exact neighborhood, same HOA, same everything, who knocks on 4 doors, one of them answers and sets that person. Right? Now that person, keep in mind, these 2 people are in the same exact neighborhood. Right? But the person who just set a lead is now like, oh, heck yeah, I'm gonna have a great day. I'm already at 1. It's only 12 o'clock. I already got a lead. There's no way I'm gonna end this day with less than 4. Right? That person's probably gonna set 4 leads that day. And the person who's complaining about no soliciting signs, I'd be surprised with a mindset like that, with a loser mindset like that, if they're really setting many at all. All right. These decisions are everywhere. You need to find them everywhere. You need to look inside your circle of influence and say, is this something I can control or not control? Okay. If you can't control it, something like the weather, right? Then you're going to prepare for it. What can I do to prepare for this? I'm going to carry a drawstring bag. I'm going to have extra waters in there and probably a rain jacket or a poncho or whatever. You know, we can get company branded ponchos if that's what we need, right? Because we need to be showing the company. But someone who is a winner, someone who is successful or going to be successful, they're going to think that way, right? I can be better prepared for this type of thing next time, right? If it is something you can control within your circle of influence, well, there's no excuse whatsoever there at all, right? Knowing your scripting, understanding the methodology, right? If you have questions, ask them. Because unasked questions 100% of the time will go unanswered. 100% of the time. So look for those. Look for opportunities for yourself to make something your fault. Right? If I go out and it's 110 degrees outside and I'm a Pennsylvania boy, so that's a lot for me, right? I don't know how to handle myself in that, and I didn't prepare. I'm not gonna go cry and be like, oh, I can't succeed today because I'm a little hot, white. No, I'm going to say, okay, I could have prepared for this better. I dropped the ball. I'm here. Do I want to be really hot and miserable and broke? Or do I want to make some money, right? It's only going to motivate me more. But tomorrow, guess what? I'm probably going to have a Camelback on that I went to Walmart and bought for $20. I'm probably going to fill it with ice, right? I'm probably going to wear a lighter shirt, you know? I'm probably going to whatever, you know? Maybe if I feel the need, an extra ice pack or whatever. I don't know if you can. They sell those like hand warmers, right? We've got a bunch of those for the winter, but do they have like coolers for you? I don't know, but I'm gonna look into it because if there's a product like that, then that would help me, you know? All that sort of stuff. In PA, we had temperatures from probably November until beginning of April. It is like, it gets down to like 10 degrees and it'll get to a maximum of like 45 degrees. Okay. So a lot of people would buy those electric hand warmers, right? So you wouldn't have to use those pouches every single day, because honestly, those kind of suck if it's really cold. They're really bad at keeping their heat. But those electric ones are awesome. 20 bucks on Amazon, right? It's because those people take responsibility and they say, how can I make this my fault? It being cold outside is not your fault, but you not bringing gloves, you not bringing hand warmers or anything like that, you're not wearing a jacket, all that stuff is your fault. All right? Make sense? So, doing these things, with mindset too, it's extremely important. It's even more important, probably starting the job, that you are in this, and this will encapsulate everything, right? You are fully and wholeheartedly in. You are completely 100% bought in, and you know that you are dedicating yourself to working hard and perfecting this craft, to say, I want to make a ton of money doing this and I want to build a career for myself. And you are going to put the work in to be able to do that. This is not a job where you can just kind of hang out and make a bunch of money, right? If you come in here expecting an easy 60 grand a year, I'm sorry, but you're probably going to be making base pay. That mentality doesn't work. You have to be hustling. You have to be willing to work hard and put that in to gain a fruitful life and to be successful in a career like this, because this isn't a job. This isn't a hobby. This is a career path. All right. It's something that you need to take extremely seriously. There are so many people that that I have in my phone, people who I've just met in passing, so many people I've met at this company all across the United States who are in very high level positions and making a ton of money, who I can tell you, and I've heard their stories from them, that they've started in this job here because my mindset was in it. Their mindsets were in it. They were bought in. They saw this as their career path. You need to understand the same thing the same way. Buy yourself in, all right? With that comes your attendance is going to be perfect because you're ready to get going. You want to get in and make more money. Your methodology and your script is going to be down because you're going to study hard. You're going to work on it. And if you have questions, you're going to ask. You're going to participate in trainings like this. I'm here at 9:30 on a Sunday, and I have family in town. But I live for this. I love this. I never thought I would be saying that, but I truly am passionate about what I do. It's a great company we work for, and they've done so much for me that I'm gonna pour everything into my position, right? Cool, but all that stuff ties in, right? You're gonna know the methodology script because you're gonna ask questions, because you're gonna be dedicated. You're gonna keep yourself put together because you know that's part of being successful too. This is beyond what it just means to do well here at this company. These are things that you do in your life that are going to change your life. It's a bonus, the fact that you're going to be enjoying what you do and making a fuck ton of money doing it. Cool, right? What is that going to get you? These things at this job, okay? Doing this stuff right, okay? Where is that going to get you? What is the model? What is the model? Who is the model, right? say let's make up a canvasser. Jeff. That's not a good name. We had a guy in a call center guy in Central PA named Jeff who slept at the office. He had a cot set up in a closet. And I went to go get shirts one day for new canvassers, and Jeff sleeping in the closet. Wild. It was crazy. Not a good example. What's a good name? Alan, give me a name.
Michael.
Michael. Michael Corleone. All right. Michael is a canvasser who has just started with the company. Okay. He has just come in for day one. Now, when people come in for day one of training, I will have already spoken to them. I do touch points. I reach out to them. I say, hey, you have any extra questions, anything, whatever. Hey, make sure you bring this stuff. Cool. Whatever. I have a conversation with them so they know who they're walking into, right? They've already met somebody from the company before day one. Obviously they met the whole recruiting team and all that. That's over Zoom. It's very non-personal. They're all in Massachusetts. So they're going to be interacting with me before day one. So Michael has already asked me, hey, what's the dress code, right? Something like that. If he had a question beyond what the interview was, Michael's probably going to ask a question or two like, hey, well, my passport's expired and like, is this okay? Whatever, right? And I'll point them towards our I-9 documents. What's right? But Michael's asking questions because he's unsure about it, right? Asking questions no matter how menial they may be. All right. It's a cliche thing, I know. But seriously, asking questions is going to be the best way that you get an understanding. Also, it makes a great impression on me. You ever been in a job interview and they ask, do you have any questions? And like you're sitting there and you need to come up with some questions because if you can sit there in an interview and have questions and want to know more about it, right? That's going to show an interviewer that you are more bought in. All right. It makes a good impression if someone can speak up and say, hey, I don't understand this. Can you help me? Right? That speaks to someone's character and their wit as well. How smart they are, right? I'm not saying, you can't say, oh, this dude's stupid because he didn't ask any questions. No, not like that. But I saw something the other day where a simple test that the US government came up with, I don't know if it was the US government, but disclaimer, I saw this on like an Instagram reel, so shoot me if I'm wrong. But you can find out if someone has an IQ over 85 by asking a single question. The question is, you go up to someone and you ask, hey, how would you have felt yesterday if you hadn't have eaten dinner? Now, the way they respond to that, you can pretty reliably put them in a section of where their IQ is. It'll be like they say like below 85 if they can't understand like a hypothetical, and they'll say, but I did eat dinner last night, right? They say that you'll be try it out on some of your friends you think are dumb and see what they say. But sorry, off track. Cool. Michael's coming in, right? I asked Michael that question and he said he would have felt hungry, right? He's over 85, so cool, right? He can fog a mirror. Great. So asking questions, no matter how menial they may be. Alan asks me a ton of questions all the time, right? He's in it, right? He's in the right mindset for that. All right. He knows the challenges he has to overcome. He asked me 1,000 times for a Zoom link for this meeting here, like at late last night. Zoom meetings at 9:30 in the morning, right? He's asking me for a Zoom link at what time was that, Alan? When did you text me?
I think it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, 12 hours before the meeting. He's like, hey, where's the Zoom link, right? He's on it. He's thinking about it. That's good. So Michael comes in, he's asking those questions. That's good. Asking questions through training. Obviously, I don't want to harp too much on what it looks like in the training class, because this is mostly going to be meant for canvassers who have already been through training or are already on the road, stuff like that. Let's get down to consistency, right? They are showing up, right? Showing up every day at 50 or earlier to practice, right? So you're consistently on time. Now, I get it. In time is 12 o'clock, right? So people walk through the door at 12 o'clock or 11:59, right? I'm not gonna say, hey, why are you here at 11:59? You're in time's 12. You know, that's never something I'm going to be like, hey, you're a dick, right? But someone who is prompt is going to make sure that they're here. They leave so that they can be here at 11:50 every day, because they know Dallas traffic can be, you know, you can get stopped for 10 minutes. That's something that you're taking into account, right? If you feel like you need extra practice, or you want to come in with other canvassers and come in at 11:30 or so and role play or whatever, that's great too. That is great buy-in. All right. That is great practice. Now, obviously, someone should have a script. If you're role playing, you know, obviously you're not going to read it off of there. You should be reciting it from memory. But the other person you're pitching should have a copy of that script and holding them and themselves accountable for what those words are on the paper. Okay, I get it. Things happen on the road and we don't always follow 100% what's on that paper. And that's fine. I cater my script and my value to visit in ways that I cater to the customer. But I understand the things that cannot change. I understand that very, very well. And if someone were to ask me, hey, what are the exact words on that paper? I can tell you what the exact words on that paper are. All right. If I'm going to say it different, you know, I'm going to know I'm saying it different. Okay? That's extremely, extremely important. Understanding it on that level. All right. But being prompt, right? Showing up every day at 11:50 or earlier to practice. Every day as well here. Every day that you are scheduled to work, which is Monday through Friday, 12 to 8, obviously. Now I get it. Things come up, things happen. You have whatever your cousin's great grandmother's pet hamsters, previous owner's dog just died, so you can't come to work today, right? Not, I'm kidding, right? If that happens, I wouldn't even know about that. Do you think hamsters keep in contact with their previous owners and know like when another pet dies? I think possible, right? But okay, you get stuck on the side of the road. A tire blows out or whatever. A family member passes away. All that sort of stuff. It happens. We get it. We understand. You just communicate, let us know. It's fine. We have makeup days on Saturday for you as well. You know, if you're gonna miss out on work, you know, do you want to have a dead grandmother and be broke? Right? That's a little morbid. I'm sorry. But right? Um, you'll you'll be consistent in that. You're not having a grandmother die every week, you know? You're working your 40 hours, that sort of stuff. It's extremely, extremely important for consistency in your numbers. The practice that you get from that, perfect practice, making perfect. Not to mention the hours you work, because you have a base pay. You don't work for 8 hours, right? A day of work. That's, you know, Well, it's over $100 that you're just pissing away because you want to play Fortnite. Cool, right? So Michael shows up every single day at 11:50 or earlier to practice, and he does the script, he understands the methodology. Um, he he's a positive force on the team. Being a positive force on a team is not enough sometimes. You need to be a positive force on the team, and you need to wick away the negativity. It's not enough for you to just be positive, right? Go get him today, right? Alan, I know you got 3 in you today. I can smell it. I can smell it on you. Right? Being a positive force. And also, when someone comes in the van and they're like, yeah, there was a lot of renters in my map. I didn't set anything. You're going to say, hey, fuck you. We're in the same neighborhood. You're not really going to say that, right? But that person who came in the van and said that, they should be shunned. You should make them feel like shit for saying that. All right? And talk about your numbers. If you go and set 3 leads, you should be damn proud to get back in that van and say, yeah, I set 3 leads, which is a good day, right? It's not great or anything. 2 or 3 is like where you should be. You set 4 leads, right? You should be like, fuck yeah, I set 4 leads today. Wait till the guys hear this. I can't wait to put that in the group me for everyone to see. Right? But you can't take credit for your successes if you don't take responsibility for your shortcomings. So if you get in the van and you got 0 and everyone's all hush hush, right? No one wants to talk about it. Your supervisor says, hey, how many did you set today? Like, I don't want to talk about it. You're a piece of shit, right? You buck up, you say, I didn't set any, right? And tomorrow I'm going to set a whole lot more, right? And hey, can we do some role play really quick on the way back from territory so we can try and figure out, where I could have gone wrong, right? And we start that role play, and that person who set 0 that day, they say, what's going on? Are you Mr. Jones? Hey, I'm with Renewal by Anderson. We recently did a project for whatever, right? They start like that. Everyone in the van immediately should be, that's fucking wrong. That's why you didn't set any leads, right? Obviously, you're not coming down that hard on someone for not setting any leads because that person should be already coming down pretty hard on themselves, right? But why should Alan, if he set 3 leads that day, why should he suppress what he's saying because some kid next to him didn't do their job to the best of their ability, to their fullest extent, right? Why should Alan have to shut the fuck up and he doesn't get to celebrate the 3 or 4 that he set that day because you might hurt the feelings of someone who set 0, right? That's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard. And yeah, a lot of other sales teams may say, oh, don't talk about your numbers. No, talk about your numbers. You want to work harder so that you can be the one that people look up to and you can say, yeah, I set 4, right? Yeah, I got 9 demos last week. Everyone sees it. They can see it on proximity marketing. That's part of the reason why I gave everybody access to that, because I want people to be competitive. I want you to see the guy who's always making $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 every single week, right? And the kid shows up with a shiny, nice, brand new car. I want people to look at him and say, he does his job well. I want that shiny, nice, brand new car. Him and I have the same job. I can do this better than him. And tomorrow I'm going to, because I'm going to work harder than him, right? Does that make sense? This is the embodiment of what needs to be happening. You need to create an environment where we breed success and we wick away failure and excuses and bullshit. Good culture spits out the bad. Unfortunately, it works the other way too. Bad culture spits out the good. You have no idea the amount of canvassers I've seen leave different departments, different teams. Good people who I wish that I could take them onto my team, right? I wish I could bring them onto my team, take them under my wing and lift them up. But they were done wrong by their manager. Because that manager wasn't doing their job in keeping that culture the right way, where it breeds success. If it's a failure culture, you're going to attract failure. You're going to attract excuses and bullshit. But if you breed success, those people who are failures will get spit out so quick. So quick. And you know what's a lot easier to do when it comes to that? Because I've rebuilt many teams over the years. It's easier to just get rid of the whole thing and start from scratch. It is 10 times easier than to flip something around, go from a negative to a positive. It is infinitely more difficult. Infinitely more difficult to do. Absolutely. All right. So it needs to start from the very beginning. All right. These habits need to be put in place from the very beginning. It needs to start from the training class. You need to inspire those people to do well, and you need to spit out the bad ones. All right. This person is a positive force on the team. It encapsulates all of that. I went on a huge rant about it, but it encapsulates all of it. Okay. This person is probably going to be setting between 2 and 4 leads per day just because they are driven, they know the methodology, and they spit out the negativity. They can wick it away. They have a strong mindset. They take care of themselves, right? And they're here every day. They're probably going to be setting between 2 and 4 a day. So let's average that out to 3 a day. 3, 3 every single day for 5 days. You're writing 15 leads every week. You take into account a very healthy cancellation rate of about 30%, right? And you're left with 10, right? You're left with 10 there. Now, take into account an extremely healthy, not even extremely healthy. Let's even say the demo rate's a little bit of a problem. And it's like 85%, okay? You're still averaging 8.5 demos every week, right? So somewhere between 8 and 9 demos every single week. You're always there. So you're making $790 or $900 every week just on commission. Add your base pay on top of it. Add whatever competition incentives you won that week as well. Your set rate bonus at the end of the month, right? You do that, you're going to be at 30 plus. You're probably going to be at 30 plus every single week. That's a $400 bonus you get every month. That's an extra $100 a week. All right. So we don't even need you to be there. Okay. We can drop it down to between 5 and 8 every week, right? Consistent right there. Doing that will average you about 60 grand a year. 65 probably. The number's on here somewhere. Hold up. I have it. I know. I think it's actually like 68. $67,000. Yep. $67,000 a year. If you're sticking probably between the 5 and 8 every single week, you are making $67,000 per year. Do you know what the average income for a household is across the United States? It's $65,000 a year for a household. That's two adults working. Average is $65,000 a year for two adults working. And you can go knock on doors and do just a good job, just a good, consistent job. And you can make more than what a two-person household, average two-person household is making in a year. All right. It's just putting the work in. It's not really hard physically. It's difficult in your mind, mentally, psychologically sometimes, but it gets a lot easier. A lot easier over time, the more you do it. And it gets fun. I enjoy it. I 100% enjoy it. And people say to me all the time, you must be sick. You're what the heck? How do you enjoy that? Right? Those people have never done it before. They haven't dove in. I've met so many different interesting people from so many different walks of life. I met a dude who claimed that massive, huge dude with a big life alert around his neck, whatever, said that he flew on Air Force One. No, he flew Air Force One or something like that. Like he was the pilot. He didn't look like it, right? He definitely did not look like it. Told me a story about some cannon. He saved a kid from getting his head blown off by a cannon. That was interesting. Very interesting. I've met a dude who owned 4 Rolls Royces, old vintage Rolls Royces in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains in Pennsylvania. Not a neighbor for a half mile this way and a half mile that way. Turns out he was the director of the museum, the Rolls Royce Museum. I've met so many different people from different walks of life, and it's awesome. It's so cool every time. I met a lady who had a hole, like her dog had a hole in it. It was crazy. I didn't even know how it was still alive and walking. But these are the types of things that happen when you're on the road. You learn so much about different people's cultures and different people's ways of life and all sorts of stuff like that. It's really, really cool. And you're helping people. Right? You're helping people because you're seeing an issue that can be a detriment to their home. Right? This is a warning sign. I can't tell you how many people, well, I've gone up to the home and I've told them about an issue. I've talked with them about it and asked questions about how it's affecting them. And we get down to it. We set an appointment and we end up coming out and installing some windows for them. And I see in the notes there that they found a significant amount of rot or whatever, right? Mold they found, right? Now I've given them the opportunity to get peace of mind that, hey, this has been checked out, this has been fixed, this has been done. We know what's going on, we know what the issue is, and we can deal with it. Rather than living in constant wonder, like, is there mold behind my walls? I have a newborn baby, and we're building their nursery in here. I don't want to, when I hang up those things that they put on the windows for the kids, I don't want to, when I hang that up, I don't want, to find out that window frame is loose or there's mold in there growing. I don't want to find out when I'm hanging that up, right? That there's bacteria and mold in my kids' room. I don't want to find out then. All right. So I help them by pointing these things out and say, hey, this could be that, right? One of my foremen needs to see your windows, make sure we can do what needs to be done and find out what you want if we can't be of service to you, right? You're helping people in that way. All right. So Michael's setting, he's setting those leads and he's between 5 and 8 every single week. Cool. Right. So Michael doing these things, and he's not an idiot, right? that's someone I'm gonna look at and I'm gonna say, yeah, I think they deserve, a higher base pay. And we'll give them a little bit more responsibility, right? We'll promote them to a supervisor role. This is a person that I can trust to do that. So he's gonna get promoted. He's gonna get an extra couple dollars of base pay. All right. He's gonna be driving a van probably. All right. But what that encapsulates is I don't put anyone in a supervisor position who I don't believe could also be a manager. I put people in that position so I can train them to be a manager. Yeah, you'll be expected to work a little bit more maybe because of those extra trainings, things like that. And I want to teach you how to do these things. But you're getting paid a better wage for it. So hopefully you can move to the management position where you can really take ownership of the success of the team. You can train canvassers from the ground up. Obviously not the in-office training, right? But on the road from the ground up, you can create this person. You are responsible for their success, all right? And then based on the success of the team, right? That person, right? They have an opportunity to make more money. All right. In the management position, you can expect in your first year to probably make between $75,000 and $90,000 that year. All right. It's not bad, really not bad in your first year. All right. It's, you learn, right? Second year, I'd be surprised if you're making less than 100, 105, 110 probably. That's what you need to shoot for, right? This is the way you do it. This is the exact way to do it. All right. All right. Alan, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Cool. All right. So this is going to be recorded. I will end up sending this out. I got to figure out how to get the file and everything, but I'll probably post it on YouTube or something like that. But I hope this was helpful, right? Just to understand, beyond what the scripting or anything like that, overarching umbrella of what success looks like here. All right. Do you feel, Alan, that it's answered some questions about what that may look like?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. All right. I appreciate your time and yeah, have a good rest of your weekend and I will see y'all tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Cool. Absolutely. You too.
Thanks. Bye.